classes, and then of course, you know, within the Wella portfolio, we have all these other brands, and they all have their own image. So it's like I always look at like everyone, and so it's like, okay, well, oh, that's Sebastian. Yeah, it's just always fun to see.
I'm going to do one.
So everybody, go ahead and take your seat whenever you're ready. We're about to start. Welcome to Dimensions 202. My name is Caio Andrade. I've been an educator for the past 10 years. And I gotta say, it's been a hell of a good and fun journey where I developed not only a better way to do what I love, but also just become a better professional on something that I had no idea I was going to start doing. My story with the hair started about 12 years ago when I needed a career. And when I started a cosmetology, that's what I was like, okay, I just turned out to be good at it. And a brand educator came to our school and needed some assistance for Miami Fashion Week. That's where I used to live. And I was like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then when I did the work behind the stage, that's when I was like, okay, I like this. I want to, how do I do this? So I met the right people, and but I didn't know anything about color. So they were like, it's fine, because we can mold you into the Wella standards, as I was telling you. And I was like, okay. So yeah, they were like, you have the personality, that's all we want. As long as you're approachable, you're likable, and it's something that I always learn, and I think it's important to share with everyone else. It's just, no matter how good you are, just keep it humble. Keep it humble. Just, I think in our industry especially, it's always important to keep your mind open. Don't ever be that one's like, oh, I know everything, because you don't know everything. There's always something new to learn, especially in our industry. The industry constantly evolves into something new, into new techniques, into products. The products are getting better, and there's science behind of it. No matter who you are, you can be that geek, sciencey one that likes to know the molecules and all that, or you can be the artist like, oh, I know what this teasing is doing to the hair. No matter what you are, just be true to who you are, and also be good to the client itself, because you don't have to be the best hairdresser. As long as you have that service, that client will come back to you. That's something that I learned. And you know, and when you don't know, just fake it until you make it. But once you know that you made something wrong or you don't know something, just go learn. That's all you do. You know, I was just telling you, we just had a little quick chat here. I'm about to enter a new chapter of my life where I'm like, okay, I don't know a lot of it, but I just feel like it's better once you go in, learn as you go, and just try to be the best, you know, and just have the visual and go for that. Have the goal and go for that. So again, Caio Andrade is my name. If you guys could follow me on social media, I will definitely follow you back. That will be the best place for us to communicate with one another. If you guys have any questions on products or techniques or anything hair related or music or anything, I don't care. It's just, let's just be in connection with one another. Again, we really appreciate in this age of today, social media is taking over in a way that I'm not enjoying it. But yeah, the whole algorithm thing is just like, no, stop. So, but I just try to keep it on hair. So that's how I kind of like, I no longer post stories of what I do. No, it's just hair related. All right. So today's class, this is this is some house rulings. You know, the time we're starting. What is it? 8:10. I think we have it till 11:30. I'm super easygoing. If you guys need to take a break or go to the bathroom, just go. The only thing I was just going to ask is just put the phones down, like vibrate it. But if you want to make videos to post online, just make sure you tag me and tag @Wella Ed so they can see what we're doing here. And if you guys have any, if you guys want the chance to be featured at a Wella social media platform, if you're doing anything related to education, definitely Wella Ed. But final looks, something that is like, so you go for Wella Hair USA. Okay. Don't ever post anything educational within tag. I mean, don't tag Wella at Wella Hair USA with education because you're not gonna post it. They want to see final
Finished.
hair. Exactly.
That's good to know.
All right. Yeah. The agenda of today. So I know you guys had Dimensions 101. And I believe on the 101 they also covered the 3 steps of consultation. Did anyone here take Dimensions 101?
I do.
Yeah? Alright, so we'll just go over it because the consultation is always the most important part of the service. Then we have the color equation. We're going to talk about the whole blonder line. And I'm going to be doing a Brazilian illuminage technique, which is going to be a full head. So I brought all the mannequins. We're going to go through lighting, toning, root shadowing, and not styling. We won't have time for styling. And then some pro tips, hair maintenance. I see that you guys already carry Ultimate Color. But there's I'm super excited with this product, especially because it's a sulfate-free shampoo. It smells really good and also just kind of takes away your time as far as like rinsing, exactly. So I'm really excited with this one right here, the Miracle Mask. And that will be it. So before I get to know you, before we get started, I want to get to know you a little bit better. So does everyone here work here?
No.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So how many of you have been doing hair for less than 5 years here? Raise your hands. Okay, so fairly new still. Okay, how you guys are feeling with color? Just be honest. Yeah, you're okay? You're really safe on? Or still a lot to learn? Yeah? What about you? Still a lot to learn, yeah. I ask you guys that because in my own experience, I only found out, and that's because I work at a color company, but again, I said, fake it until you make it and just really learn. But if I tell you that I only got my, how do you say, your niche? Niche? What's it?
Yep.
The niche?
Yeah.
I thought it was something.
That's perfect.
I'm Brazilian. I'll say some things that are wrong, but as long as you guys understand.
We make up
Okay.
shit.
Exactly. Exactly. At 7 years,
Yep.
that's when things clicked for me. That's when I was like, this is what I like doing. Not that I don't do that, but I just try to really, especially with social media, I try to post things that I like doing because that's the type of clients that I want to attract.
All right.
But I never say no to a client that walks in, oh, curly hair. I remember curly hair. I'm like, oh, curly hair. Yeah, I would cringe because I didn't know. But I was like, come on over, let's do your hair. And then I would just learn and research. We're hairstylists, so we're supposed to do everything. But you are allowed to want to attract what you like to do. So it took me 7 years to really understand what I like to do, especially with color, because that whole color wheel thing is just like, ooh. And sometimes, for example, till this day, when you talk numbers with the 7-stroke 7-1, I still have I need to think. Some people are just like, 7-stroke 7-1 with the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, calm down. I'm not that person that it's just placed, but it's all different. So learning and understanding where you're at, just and just it takes time. It take time. But now, who here has been doing hair for over 20 years? 20 years, good. All right. How do you guys feel the whole difference?
I like it. I feel like color somewhere along the way expanded drastically from what it was. I really think that's created a lot of learning opportunities. So I love it.
Yeah, I feel, I can only speak to 12 years ago, but looking at, with all this history with educating, I've been teaching classes with people that have been doing hair for over 40 years. And it's always interesting to see when I'm sitting here educating them. Yep. But again, it's all about what I said, keeping it humble. Because at the same way that I am giving you guys some of my knowledge, that's why I like to take some from you. So that's all I always ask. Let's just keep this open conversation. If you have any questions, let's talk about it, because that's the best way that we can get to learn with one another. But going back to those people that have been doing 40 years, that's when I asked how were the products back then? And so so that's why I find it interesting how much the companies have evolved, especially with technology and all of that. And actually, and also like with how clients are more, they want more something like more of products that are more ingredient conscious and all of that. So I'm proud to say that now Wella, our claims is that all of the products have, you know, the most clean science behind it. So it's you have that. So they're all vegans and all of that. So we went all across the board with Colostone, Color Touch, Shinefinity, Illumina. So now we're all claiming especially the Metal Purifier, and they're all vegan. Okay, so you guys can always say to your clients that, you know, you put in, just put the word out there. Again, it's all a service. It's all this. Yeah. So if you do a hair, you know, do cutting hair right here, just throw a little hand right here. That will make, I'm telling you, that will make a difference. That will make a difference, okay? So let's just go ahead and just start with the 3-step consultation. The 3-step consultation, again, like I said, consultation is the most important part of your service, okay? So treating your clients, especially those that are not your first time, like it is their first time, is actually a go-to. Why do I say that? Because a client that comes to you and you always keep doing the same, they will leave you at some point. Why? As long as you show them or showcase that you just learned the technique, for example, that I'm going to do here today, they're not going to know. Why? Because you're just doing the same. So maybe sometime, either on the consultation or throughout the service, you go and actually, hey, can I just show you something that I did and I really liked and it might be cool for you? It's just throwing some glitter in there, you know, so they know that you are not just doing the same thing, okay? So the consultation here that we developed is number 1, 3 steps is the number 1, finding the identity of your client. So who's your client, the personality, then we have the destination, what does your client want, and then number 3 is service, how you will get there. So just to cover more in depth. So identity, who's your client? That's when you're going to find out their personality and lifestyle. What fashion and trends inspire you? Those are questions that you want to ask them, or you can just like look at them and notice what are they wearing and all those things. Or describe your lifestyle. Why don't you like? I think that's a great question to do, especially when you're asking about their hair. It's like, what do you like about your hair right now, and what you don't like about your hair right now? Because the likes, you can just have a chance to keep it the same or improve a little change right there, and you don't like, that's where you need to tackle one, okay? The commitment and budget, this is something that's very important, especially when they're gonna walk out. You will see on step 3. But it's just really understanding how often do they come to the salon or how often they spend on their hair. Doesn't matter if that client comes to you with that picture of the red carpet moment, and I'm like, but they only spend 5 minutes a day on hair, and I'm like, yeah, maybe this is not the most suitable thing for you. But how do we approach that? How do we talk about that? How do we can navigate or maybe recommend something else to the client on the best way, right? Then of course, how much money do you spend on your hair each month? You know, are you protecting your investment? Or do you come here, spend what, $500 on a collar, and then you go home and shampoo your hair with Head and Shoulder? Well, if you have dandruff, maybe you can do that once a week, because it was really good actually. Not taking that away from that, but you understand what I'm saying, just really protecting your investment. So understanding who that client is, and just trying to bring them into that, because it's not just hair, okay? Hair, it's a crown, you know? Technical analysis and suitability, this is where you're gonna really assess the hair, because once you're starting to assess the hair, that's when you kind of see, okay, the gears are starting to work. When you go to the back bar, say what kind of product I'm going to use to this hair, what is the best suitable product to use on this head right now. Also defining if they're lying to you, especially what is your hair history, right? Is this virgin? This is You see that whole 2 inches right there, up there. So just really like taking your time to step number one, finding the identity of your client, who it is, and just really taking that information. If you need to write it down, actually write it down. Have their profile on the computer or however the system in the salon is. Just really knowing who that person is. We all like to be pampered and know their names and blah, blah, blah. I'm terrible with names. Once I see on my days, like, oh, this one's coming. I don't remember anyone until they walked in. And I was like, oh, okay. But then, exactly, I'm more visual. But, we're all different. But just really, once they're in, just make sure you know their name and call them by their name. Okay. The destination, what does your client want? So what are you doing on that day? It's going to be a cut, a color, a style, direction. We ask them to describe what is the desired color or cut that they like. And again, it's up to us as professionals to really do that whole assessment on their face shape or hair color, eye color, skin color, and just really, we have to redirect them because sometimes they come with a look that's like, this is not good for you. But again, like I said, how are you going to say that? There are ways that they want to feel lift, not down, Again, what do you love about your hair color? Is it a subtle or a drastic change? Okay, what does that mean? A subtle, sometimes somebody has never done color, but that's maybe a good opportunity for you to upsell maybe a face frame, that it doesn't have to be a big change. Just do a little, if it's virgin hair, just put, 1 level higher or 2 levels higher, just to spice it up something, If you do a face frame here, you got more light right here. When that sun or the light hits, it just gives you more of that youth feeling. So just having those little tickles right there, just how to sell that, upsell. With Shinefinity now, now I did 4 years ago. With Clear is something that you can actually put on guys, just to kind of get the little, shine on the hair. Just something that it's low commitment, but it's going to give them something, and it's going to give you as well something. Stepping up, exactly. So thinking about that, or is it a drastic change? They're coming in for a big transformation, which is big projects. That's what I like to call it, and I just love it. And then just asking to show their images. That's when also you look at the scalp condition, is all of that. And that's when you go to service. This is when I gather all the information that I got with them, and then I go to the color bar, and that's when my moment comes. Because that's when I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. What kind of service? Well, all the services you're gonna do. And this is what I always recommend. After you know exactly what you're gonna do, are you guys kind of a la carte here? Or is it more like a package?
Yeah, mostly a package, but we have add-ons.
Okay. What I would say is just whenever you're the one who's defining what is going to get, just come to your client and let them know. So the cashier don't have problems in the end, and the client's like, oh, I didn't know I was getting this. Exactly. So just before that, go, or just, if you don't want to talk numbers, there's always a best way to approach. Just say, listen, this is what we do. This is the services you're getting today. Do you have any questions for me? Oh, no, because that's the opportunity that they have to ask you the price. Or if you want to just go ahead and say the price. We're looking at something right here. Is that okay? Okay, cool. Then we can get started. It's just to avoid problems, because I had so many problems before when I didn't adapt to this. And again, that's what I'm saying. I love working with Wella, because we're constantly changing, and sometimes I just learn something that's like, holy shit, why didn't I do that before? So this 3-step consultation, if you keep that in mind, just like it really helps you out. So let's just go ahead. What is the number 1 step? Identity. Then number 2, destination. And number 3, services. Okay? All right, let's do it. Number 1.
Identity.
Number 2.
Destination.
Number 3.
Service.
There we go. Thank you very much. So here's just just tips for, from the experts. Again, like this is actually a great area here for a first consultation. Why? Because you have the lighting. Yeah, before putting any capes on, just really see what the clients are wearing, because that kind of just tells you already kind of who they are. And also you're looking at their skin tones, okay? And also eye color and all that. So this is the most important thing that I would say from here. Just avoid closed questions, like with the answers, it's just yes or no. You want their emotion, you want to hear, again, what you don't like about your hair. It's like, oh, do you like about your hair today? No, that's not the answer you want. What you don't like about your hair. So you want to hear that emotion, okay? All right, and really quick, the color equation. That's something that I find super helpful on when to decide what kind of color is going to be better for those clients, okay? So basically, there's just says that the studies they were tracking, how did they come up with that? Because the first things that we look on color to be featured on a client, what are the 3 keys? We look at the eye, the skin tone, and hair, and how they all they have to one has to be always different than the other one. So how they come up with the answer is pretty much, so if the skin tone is warm and the eye is warm, definitely a cool color in the hair, because or else the color is going to look washed out. If it's the opposite, if it's cool skin tone and cool eye color, then warm. Now, if your client happens to have a mix of a skin warm to cool, then you're free to choose whatever you want. But most likely, you do want to have that warm contrast. A perfect example that I always like to use is Ariana Grande, for example. I think it was in 2014, 15, she came up with this video called Focus. I don't know if you guys anyone know. But she showed up with this platinum blonde wig. It was a platinum wig. But I was like, oh, this looks good on her. And then this whole weekend moment, when she just showed up in a red carpet, I was like, Jesus, this is not going. Because her hair color was exactly the color of her skin.
Yeah.
So whenever I saw that, I was like, I'm going to use this one, because that platinum wig really stood to me since 2015. So I used that example. This whole red carpet moment that she had with Wicked was just, that color was not good for her. So that's what I'm saying, just really knowing, especially with the skin tone right here, you do want to see a little the difference. You don't want to see, skin just becoming the hair. It doesn't look good. So again, just keep in mind that that's a great way to see it. And how do you find, for example, the skin tones? Again, do you guys know how? I usually look here in the arm for the veins, blue, purple, or green. So you just look for that. And also the undertones here on the skin, on the cheekbones, on the jaw. It's between the cheekbones and the jawline, because this is the part that the sun doesn't sunburn very well. So just always look for here so you can see tones and undertones on the skin, and you can make a decision on that. Okay? Alright, so let's just go ahead and explore the blonder color, the blonder line range, okay? So blonder is, as you all know, our lightning products, and we have a whole range of products too. Now, what do you guys carry here at the salon? All of it? Okay, alright. I guess the rat must love that.
No. We're
Yeah.
So yeah, they like us a lot.
Oh no, listen, looking at working at a salon too, I've seen how much 1 week of color can cost. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Hundreds of thousands.
It's crazy. It's crazy. No wonder why we're #1 color in the world. So yes, but let's go back and so I always like to start with blonder blacks. Blonder blacks is my favorite lightener in the salon. Now, blonder is stylist's favorite. So what? Exactly. But what I like about blonder blacks, again, it is the whole blacks treatment that is already in it. I always try to keep the client's hair structure intact as much as I can, of course. And Blood-Plex really helped me with that. And not only I get my 9 levels of lift, clean lift, I also get more of a premium charge on that. So whenever you're using Blood-Plex, you can definitely charge an extra for that premium Plex treatment. Now, we all know that Plex has been dominating the market, especially on blonding services, highlights, because of what it does. It is really amazing what the bonds and the whole bond structure that we started getting with, you know, the Plex treatments, and the fact that we were able to add that Plex to the powder is amazing, you know, and I just really enjoy the consistency of the blonder Plex and all of that. So the technology is building Plex technology. Again, you have to use number 2 right after. Do not shampoo, just to clear that out. You should not see. There's always that, but there's always important when we come with it. Sometimes I know it's an information that you guys have heard before and all of that, but it's just to clear it out. So yeah, you do not shampoo. You just always use the Plex treatment.
That's to learn from me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So just go with, yeah. So before we used to use Wella Plex number 2, and you need it about 10 minutes. So we just came out, I don't know if you already have this one.
We should. Do we? We do have. Yeah.
So now we create a blonder Plex, so it's not just Wella Plex. Now of course, Wella Plex is always, they're gonna keep it. The only difference is this is 2 minutes only. So exactly, so that's why I love the whole thing with science, that they keep, you know, they're just really helping us out, especially us, you know, time is money. So 10 minutes over 2 minutes, yes, I'll pick this. So just go ahead, if you know, I'm not taking away from Wella Plex, because this is how I can use it. When you say, why would I keep Wella Plex 2? Okay, so let's say you do the technique that we're going to be doing today. So that involves a lot of teasing. So the teasing moment, that's when the unteasing moment, that's when I would take the time to actually use something. So if I'm going to use, I know I'm going to take 10 minutes to undo that teasing, I'm just going to go ahead and use that product. That's the way that you can kind of just balance it out. So if it's just more of a, regular highlights, okay, 2 minutes I can get it, let's use this. So that's how I say, why should I keep getting that one product? Because it's a way like that, I'm like, why are you coming with something better? What are you going to do with that one?
Results are the same then, right?
Is it true?
I don't want to say it's the same because of the processing. I think you will get the most benefit, the same benefits, yes. But because of the time, I'm sure they have to add extra whatever ingredients that they put in there just to make that fast and service. Whatever.
Can you use that instead of step 2? Say I'm using
Yes.
Wellaplex.
Yes.
Because I use
Exactly.
cream bleach on like scalp with Wellaplex.
Yes.
Can I use that instead?
Yes.
Step 2.
Yes. Exactly. That will kind of substitute.
Wanted to make
When
sure.
you say
So
Wella-
listen.
Yeah.
When you say Wellaplex, is it Blonderplex or Wellaplex number 1?
Wellaplex.
I see. Yes.
That's why I
You
wanted to
can
make sure I could
yes.
use that to.
Yes, you can use that. Yes.
Let's have another question. I just follow also the Wella structured mask has Wellaplex in it as well. Is that true?
The Wella.
The Wella structured mask, the color structured mask, the one that looks like a rainbow on it.
Color structure mask.
Yeah,
That
that's
looks
we've
like
been
a
told. There was an editor.
The one after color.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Color structure mask.
Yeah.
The color motion mask.
Yeah, the color motion,
color
yeah.
motion mask.
This
Okay.
one.
Yes. I would say that color motion mask is more of a product that you take, the client will take home. They have some, not factors, how do you say it? It does some protection, just like Fusion Plaques. Remember Fusion Plaques? So Fusion Plaques has some of it, but for the in-salon, you will get most of the bone stabilizing right after the service on these 2 products. Now, all of the masks, the Fusion Plaques conditioner and all that, they do have some properties that, yes, will protect the hair and the bones of it, but not as much as this. That's why we always say use number 2, blonder plaques 2 now, right after the light, okay? Say it again?
Yeah.
This is a bit, yes. So on Wellaplex on Wellaplex line, you will recommend the client to take Wellaplex 3, which is a stabilizer too, but this will give you the 93% that they say, the less breakage on hair. This is the one that's gonna do the trick. Yeah, okay? And now this one's in 2 minutes, okay? Any other question on Plex? See, I love that it's just got there. Then we go for blonder. Blonder is, again, any stylist's favorite because it's, it's been in the house for long years and years and years. It's our award-winning lightener. Blonder is 7 levels of lift. This is, they're all great for all types of service. Let me see, it's a little, let's fix that.
And you could use blonder flex for the scalp.
That's actually what I'm gonna go to say. They're all good for in scalp, freehand, and on scalp. In foils, freehand, and on scalp. I have the last little slide here will tell you exactly the properties, but yes, you can use on scalp. But definitely, if you have the soft cream, I'll definitely recommend that one. Because that's the one that's more gentle to it, because it has chamomile oils in the formula itself. But then again, that's no good for foils. So again, understanding what each product can do to your service or to benefit your client, it's very important. So for example, let's say you're doing a all-over bleach. I'll definitely use either blonder plaques or blonder to my foils. And then after I do all of my foils, I'll go in the scalp and use soft cream, okay? Don't be fooled by the soft. You will still get your 7 levels of lift. Yeah, it really works. And what I like about the blonder line is the controlled lift and the agents of anti-brass, because they all have like that violet pigment into it, so that's great for counteracting with your yellows undertones and orange undertones. The developers that you can use, basically all of them. You can use pastel, and don't be fooled, pastel glue will lift. Something that I always say is that the power is in the powder and not the developer. You will get the same level of lift if you use either pastel and 40. It takes longer, but again, what's the most important thing that we need to analyze is the hair, okay? I'm not saying don't use 40. I would use 40 in extremely conditions that I was like, okay, I have to here. But if not, keep it under 20, you will get the lift. Just take your time, because again, it's the timing that, it's the structure of the hair that really matters in there. And again, whenever working with lightener, always work with small batches. The powder, it's also in the first 25 minutes. That's when you're going to get the most of the lift. After that 25 minutes, it just starts coming down, okay, slowing down. So working with 20, I usually recommend, this is my pro tip for you, usually work with 1 ounce of lightener first. And then you can always mix it either 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2, that's your preference. I like using 1 to 2 whenever I'm doing my foils, and then whenever I'm doing something more of a balayage, something, then I'll go to 1.5. So it's a little bit more dense and all of that. Let's see, and developing time, manufacturer orders is 50 minutes, but let's just say that's what they say. Okay? We all know what is that, what that means. And same thing goes with heat. Manufacturer orders, no. But just, if you're gonna, we all know that behind the stage is something else. But I just really be mindful with the heat. If you can avoid it. Sometimes just put a towel on top, that will give the trick. But if you need that push, just be mindful. I'm not saying for you to use it. Just keep it on manufacturer orders. Oh shit, there's a camera there. just be mindful of what it's doing, you know? Okay, so any questions on Blonder or Blonder Wax? No? Okay. Moving on to Blonder Extra Cool and Magma. So Blonder Extra Cool and Magma, as you can see, they go up to 6 levels of lifts. Blonder Extra Cool is the blonder, but that's something for you to use more on really dark hair, because it's a more, instead of violet, it's a blue, and blue is going to neutralize the underpigments of more of the darker hair. Okay.
Is magma going away?
That's a great question. I don't know the exact answer, but by seeing that the shades has been extremely limited, I think you might in the future, yes.
Probably not
So,
selling well, so
yeah.
if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
Companies.
yes. I used to, I don't use Magma as much as anymore because they took my shades, my favorite shades out. Yeah. So if you have that limoncello on the side, just keep that because that's gonna be gold
I love
in
it.
10 years.
Literally.
In 10 years. I don't know if it works still, but that's what they say. You know, they actually say like if you storage old color that's not been opened and all of that, and if you store it in proper place, it will actually work. Yeah, but so you never know, limoncello still. But again, so the difference, they're all kind of more of a clay base. What do you got? Not structure. The density of how it feels. It feels more like actually free lights, magma. So it's very easier to place, and then it's not going to create a mess. It's something like that. So the magma, for those that doesn't know, is our lightener that lighten it up inside while it's toning on the outside of the hair. Okay. Then we have free lights. Free lights is just very much for our freehand painting techniques. It reduces the swelling of your hair. That's actually what I like. So I see a lot of in the salon that I work at. People doing foils with my free lights because of the not swelling. So it's not how we recommend it to use, but can you use it? Yes, because of that. But yeah, I still prefer my blonder. But again, it's just how you use it, how you know how to do your foils. But definitely free lights has less swelling than blonder. It's more for natural hairs, and whenever you're doing your free lights, your balayage, for example, it's more for that natural look. Again, yes, I wouldn't say if you're looking for something that's going to be, I need a platinum look on the level, like on that, your level 2 and 3. You're not going to get that, especially if you're doing the application that, it's an open air, you're not going to get that. Right. So just be mindful of actually the temperature of the AC, because those things, those factors, it makes a big difference on the final result. Levels of lift to 7. It's not recommended to redo that service right away. So that's what I'm saying. Once you know where you're going, just pick the right product. Because, for example, free lights, you don't want to do that just the next time. Like, we need to do another service right here. Okay? The technology is Active Fuse. Again, I have a slide that we talk about that, so it's good. So the developers for that, it's also the same ones, except for free lights. Free lights. Whenever you're doing free lights, you want the free lights developer. Why is that important? Again, all of our lines, not just that, all of our lines, they are created with the technology behind. Now, they say, so what, if I put a 20 volume by, you buy a Sally's, for example, is it going to work? Yes, it will work, but will you get the benefits from the technology that was built for it? You won't. So that's why it's important to always keep the developer from the specific product that you're using. So free lights have it's a specific developer, because once they get together, they activate the polymers, molecules, how you want to call to work the way it's supposed to do, okay? The mixing ratio is 1:1 to 1:3. Again, it all depends on how you like it. The dyes will just kind of disappear. That's why it's always important to understand. I came across so many scenarios where people are doing color with the lightener at the same time, but once they touch together, it's not going to work. Because again, the lightener is going to destroy that molecule. So that's why I always understand the basics of the molecules. But with Magma, they created this dye that it just tones it together. Now, talking about toning. It's always important, and I like to say this, because I have met so many hairstylists that, oh, why tone hair? Okay? Right after highlight. Is there any of the stylists here? So you guys always tone? Thank you.
99% of the time.
Perfect. That's actually what I'm gonna get to this good point here. Whenever we're lightening hair, what's happening there? We are removing pigment. So you can't just leave your client with no pigment in the hair. Basically just, oh, this is your underlying pigment, that's it, just go home. Exactly. So you always want to add something to the hair. And that's the point that I want to get. Even if you like the tone, because sometimes you might hit that tone right up, oh, this is spot on. But you need to put something in there. And that's why I like the toners from Blonder, because they don't have, for example, the level on the tone in itself. They just have the pigment. So you're not going to change the level at all. You're just going to add tonality to it, okay? So Blonder, we have two types of toners. This is a classic one, which is the Blonder Permanent Liquid Toner. This little bottle is powerful. But this is great for your all-over blondes, for example, or something that we are actually doing more with Wella now is actually just, and that's something that we're going to talk about, it's about pre-toning hair before you do your toner. So these two products that I'm going to talk about now, those are great for that. This one's a little bit more powerful. This one, the tonality will last longer, okay? So just be mindful of how this product works, okay? This is good for on and off scalp, for corrective express toning, for base breaking. So whenever you use this, if you're using with a 20, you will get your base break. So if you want that, definitely use for that. If you don't want that, you can either use with the pastel, that's just to kind of hold that base breaking a little bit, but just always be mindful of checking the hair, because this will shift a little bit no matter what. For high shine, it's versatile, it's nice and easy to apply because it's a liquid toner, like it says, for a bottle. One thing that I always just kind of make you aware, once you put that on, you will see that violet coming up, and that could scare a lot of people, but just really trust the process. If you don't know it yet, you can always kind of just go in the hair and see what it's doing, but once you rinse that out, you will see that it really works. It's really working. My favorite ones here is the 05 right over here. I used to be so scared of 5. The ones, especially when, okay, 05, okay, so what is 0? Natural, so you have about 75% of that, and then you have 25% of red violet. But that red violet just gives that really nice little, depending on the canvas, kind of like that little peachy look. So I started using that, but it's a controlled, so you have warm with some, it's not warm and cool, it's like that refined warmth, exactly. So it controls that warmth, giving that little, yeah. Again, depending on the canvas that you put, because it all depends on, you know, if you put on level 8, it's more gold. So you're just adding more natural to that. But if you put it on a 10, then you will feel a little bit more of a peachy, because at the 10, it's even almost yellow, pale yellow. So it all depends, you know. And 81, that was my go-to in 2015 when this guy went platinum as well. Remember when all the guys were like dark beard and platinum, yeah, 81 was the one to go for me. So I always kind of just put that on out there. Mix ratio again is 1:2, pastel for more of a soft tonality, and if you want more of the base break, you can use it with 20, okay? It's up to 30 minutes with that one, but again, whenever toning, with any product, I would recommend that you always watch. Now, that being said, they've always been asking me to talk about it, because are you guys with Shinefinity?
Yes.
We have been having some concerns about certain shades with Shinefinity.
Really?
They're saying that Shinefinity is just getting too pigmented and dark, certain shades, yes. What I would say about Shinefinity is that unlike Color Touch you need the processing time. Shinefinity is something that definitely keep an eye on, okay? Because you will get more intensity out of a color, of a shade than you expect,
More progressive.
but if the color is more sitting there, more progressive. So just,
It works quicker.
say it again?
It works quicker.
It works what?
Quicker.
Weaker?
Quicker.
Oh, quicker,
Yeah.
quicker, sorry. Again, it does work quicker, yes. That's why we actually have some hero shades that in 5 minutes it will do the work. So that's why I was like, okay, once we create something and then we see how it's going, that's when we that's really in the truth, that's how we learn and see what it's doing. And that's, after years, they okay, we need to make this better. So what I would say, is it a bad color? It's not. It's just, again, know what you're dealing with. So, we can have moments like this, okay, this is what's happening. So that's why I come here and say, this is what I'm hearing. That's why I'm just letting you know. So being mindful of that, but not stop using it. Again, so Shinefinity, it's more of a progressive color that once it's there, just keep an eye. Once you see it and you're happy, they're like, you know what, this is good. That's how I've been seeing it. Now, Color Touch, it does need that development, So that's how I would tackle on that. So coming back to Blonder, this is our last, right after this one. So now we have Blonder Plex Cream Toners. Have you guys had a chance to play with this? Okay. Perfect. So what I like about this is just that soft tonality that it adds to hair. So this is perfect for that stylist that does not want to tone hair right after. Not only you're getting the Plex treatment to the hair, so once you use this, there's no need to use this. So again, for the stylist on the go, for us on the go, once you're there, you're toning and treating the hair at the same time. Now, this is a soft toning. That being said, it doesn't last as long. So if you're thinking about a client that has a color and she's not going to come back, I think I would just go with a regular tone, your regular toner with the Color Touch or Color Stone, a little bit whatever color you decide. But this is more of that soft tonality, or for something that you already, I'm happy with what I have here. And that's actually what I'm going to be using today on this case scenario that I'm about to present. As for that, again, it's for that stylist that you're already happy with what you have, you just need a little tweak, and you're adding the treatment to the hair, okay? The shades that we have available, this is 1/6, lovely, and the 36, those are my favorite ones. Actually 96, the Sienna Beige. Then we have a Booster 86, again, whenever we're talking boosters in any of our lines, a little goes a long way. Just be mindful of that, okay? Do not try this by itself, put it on the pale yellow hair, that hair is just going to turn blue, and your line is not going to walk out. The mixing ratios is 1 to 1.5 up to 2, the one that's got covered there, okay? And the developing time, 5 minutes. That's all you need. So again, it's quick, that quick tonality, but again, it's not very pigmented. It's just going to have a little twig in there. Again, now if you want to do a pre-toning with this, spot on, okay?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why would you use a different ratio for the the toner? Like, why is it 1.5?
It's 1 to 1, it's 1.5, okay? Up to 2. I would say it is more of a, I feel like if you put more developer, you might be diluting a little bit more, or just more like depending if it's a finer hair, you don't need as much as a product, so you just kind of go with a little more and just kind of, I would say more of the consistencies. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think it's going to dilute that much because it's against the developers, not water. But yeah, it's just, I guess it's just a preference, honestly, because they're going to work the same way. Yeah. Okay.
This will still break your face like that.
This one, it does break. It has, it's not as, I want to say it's more of a base break, but it will do a little
So
shift.
if you add more developer, would it slow that down?
I think that you will, it makes sense that it will go more because there's more product in there. Yeah, so it kind of just, again, is it diluting? I don't like using that word, but yes, it will kind of slow that down. But still, you have that base. Yeah, okay? But it's not, honestly, from what my experiences with it, it hasn't been that much of a shift.
4%, that's kind of like a living standard.
Yes, because again, you're using it with, you can actually use it with pastel as well, not manufacturers, but you know, anything that you think is going to be base breaking, just use pastel.
Wait, what developer did that?
That one is a 10. Yeah, that's a 10. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You will get the same, especially if you don't want that break, that base break. I'll just use pastel. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so this is the one that I was telling that if you guys want to actually come closer and take a picture, because this is all the recommendations for the most important one is like on scalp. So basically, if you see Blonderplex, Blonder Multi-Blonde, Soft Cream, and Extra Cool, they all can be used on scalp. Free Lights and Magma, no. That's pretty much then off scalp, all of them. Yeah, this is pretty much just like the recommendations of it, okay? I think there's a base spray. See, base spray, you will get all of that with the toners. So all of the toners, they will do a little shift, but again, if you want that less shift, just use pastel, okay? All right. Any questions on the product? No? Okay. So let's talk about our dimensions, starting talking about dimensions and all the product, the classic balayage overview. So balayage, how many clients come to you, oh, I want a balayage, but then they show you the picture and it's like, this is not balayage.
Like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do they do that? Because they're just hearing trends.
Tag words.
They're tag words, exactly. So that's why this is how I found, again, when that 8-year mark hit, and I was like, you learn how to work better. Always have your clients showing you at least 3 pictures of what they want. On those 3 pictures, you're gonna analyze the color result, how much dimension is on those hairs, because that's when you're gonna start asking questions. Are you looking for some more definition? Are you looking for stripes? Are you looking for more coverage? Are you looking more for a veil of color or luminosity? That's just kind of the ways where you tackle the how much poise, you know, the dimensions. Because again, what is dimension? So it's a stripe, for example.
Dark and light.
Exactly, it's the dark and light. But something that I always mention, there is no light without darkness, okay? So whenever you have a foil with lightness, if you add some darkness underneath, that darkness is actually going to make that light pop out, okay? Then again, that's why it's important to understand if they want the stripe, because the stripe could look like a stripe, but if you add a shallow root, you can blend that stripe to kind of, because you're breaking that harsh line on the top.
That's what
But
was missing
still-
when you first started doing stuff.
Exactly. When you look at certain looks, for example, 2001, like the Rachel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of coming back to it.
Yeah, exactly. But again, it's exactly what you said. If there was a shadow root right there, that hair would look cool.
Right.
It would look beautiful. But again, it's always important to understand the language that your client is telling you. If the language that they're telling you is exactly what they want. Because sometimes, again, what is balayage? And then it's like, oh, I want a foliage. Guys, in the end, it's all highlights. It just depends on the technique. That's all it is. It's a different technique. You have ombre, you have balayage, you have foliage, you have foils, you have all over blonde. So anyway, it's all highlights, okay? So balayage is mostly when that's how I like to treat it. It's freehand painting, but more of a sun-kissed effect, okay? So it's not for some like you were pointing to your hair. I could do balayage on her hair, yes, but it's just gonna be something for a sun-kissed effect. It's not for boom, okay? It will work on her hair, yes, because her hair is already light. But it will work for level 2, it's not gonna get to that. So that's what I'm saying. You will get more of a sun-kissed effect and saying more of an orange. That's what you're gonna expose. You're gonna get orange underlines, okay? Exposed to that. Illuminage. So illuminage is more of a highlight technique that it was created that will accent the areas of the hair with the soft framing, enhancing the edge. More of a blend, the tonality of that illuminage is blended. So we're all looking of soft and natural. Like the name says, illuminating, illuminage. So it's just to illuminate that. But we want to keep it natural. So on illuminage, we're not looking for specifically dimensions on the hair itself. We're gonna look. You can create those dimensions, yes, but you want to have to really blend those in as if it was a natural. Again, something that I like about this technique is that you can make the hair that's natural level 4 go to a 10, but look like it's natural. But you know it's not natural. But it's about that whole transition. And then you have the Brazilian illuminage. How many of you guys are familiar with Romeo Felipe here? Romeo Felipe? So Romeo Felipe is a Brazilian stylist, and he is the Wella global ambassador. He's the first hairstylist in the world that actually has the very first Wella shade on the box, on the Colisão in Brazil, and he's from home. So, and if you actually see his salon, he's actually on the World Guinness of the biggest salon in the world. He employs, I think, over 500 people. Yeah, it's a big salon, and that's what I like about the name of the salon is called Romeo Concept. And basically what and that stood to me, he's not selling hair anymore. He's selling the experience. So when people go to his salon, they're paying for the whole experience of getting everything done. So he has a bistro in the salon. It's really cool. It's really nice to see. Romeo Felipe. So yeah, did you find it? I think and if you go to Rom Concept, so ROM Concept. Yes, so that's his salon, and it's just like really seeing where we can take our craft into this really business-wise, or just in the salon. And the hair he does, I mean, the guy is good. Okay, so he's actually the one who created the Brazilian illuminage technique, and I'm going to be demonstrating to you how to do that. Okay, but before that, so the execution is going to be basically this. Lightning, step 1. So be it freehand or foiling, the lightning stage follows precision sectioning on key areas of the head, be it for face framing, perimeter lightning, or dark to light transitions. Then we're going to work with root shadow to create the perfect shadowy root that transitions beautifully into clear lightning ends. The simple step is applied to towel dry hair. So you always want to clean the hair after, you know, you do your lightening, you're going to do your Boulder plaques or your Wella plaques. Then you want to shampoo the hair because you're going to work with toning. The less you rinse that toner, the longer the hair, the color will stay. So that's just always a treat. Just always really shampoo the hair really well before you do the toner. Because sometimes you might want to skip the lash shampoo, just go to the conditioner. So you're not stripping the hair anymore. Unless you're going to use ultimate color. I'm just saying again, what is the need for an extra shampoo if the hair's already clean?
Right.
Shampoo again is nothing but soap, okay? But it will strip hair. There's some that are more powerful than the other one. Anyway, let's move on. I just start going. Exactly. I'm one of those. Let's just go. Anyway. And then we're gonna go to personalized toning. Personalized toning. This is what I always like to mention. Understanding that we as stylists, how can we be different than other ones? Something that I learned in my career is that really work with your own formulas. So every season that comes, you want to be updated with what's happening. So for example, do you all know what is the color of the year with Pantone?
What is it?
Dancing clouds?
Yeah.
Dancing clouds. So it's platinum. But if you look at it, how am I going to make that platinum pop up a little bit? Because there is a little hint of it's a little mushroomy, but it's a warm mushroomy. It's weird. When you look, it's not just white, okay? And it's dancing clouds. So anyway, so I like to look always at but the last year was my favorite one, was mocha chocolate, because I love brunettes. I love working with brunettes. Brown doesn't have to be necessarily boring, unless you know how to play with different shades and how they play with the hair, when the whole hair is getting together. But what I was going to say, and I went to that rabbit hole again, it's about really formulate your own formula. So be up to the trends and just kind of create, for example, 6 formulas that are yours. And just have that on the swatch, ready to show the clients. So this is my summer, spring, summer shades, and then we go to fall, winter, which are more dark, more reddish tones, more, you know. So just really work for formulas that is not just one shade that you pick from, you know, just really work. But, you know, one part of this to 2 of that, to create your own formulations so you can be different. Because once you hit that toner on the client, you're going to have them hooked. And they know that that's only you that can do that. You understand what I'm saying? So personalized toning, that's what we want to start working on each client. They all have one, you know. That server was tailored for them. And once they feel that, they feel special. And that's how you cook them, okay? So for this technique, we're going to have these type of weaving and sectioning. We're going to have large weavings, and I love working with large weavings. Once you know that how to not leave that stripe, it's just faster. So you no longer have to like go with really fine sections and then fine weaving. No, we want to work fast here, and we want to see a drastic change. So that's what I'm going to do today. You're going to see that I'm going to be fast, but my sectioning are going to be big, and where you tackle those sections, that's what matters. And the overall look is going to be amazing. So what I'm going to do today, okay, so we have the large weave, we're going to work with slices, back-to-back slices, and the zigzag is more whenever you're using for curly hair. Or the zigzag you will see on the sections that will come right here, but I'm not going to go and do a zigzag, but you will see that I'm going to use triangles here. I know it's hard to see here, but we're going to have a triangle and an inverted triangle. But then when you add a slice on top of the triangle, that's what I mentioned. I'm going to have that dark and then the slice on top. What I mean here, because on the triangles, I'm going to be teasing. Okay? So that tease part is not going to get lightened up. Then whenever I have that slice laying on top, it's going to be you're going to have the dark background in there. Okay? All right. Perfect. I'm gonna get things ready. If you guys wanna take a little break to go, you know, do your Brazilian Illuminati. So this technique also, like I said, was created by Romeo Felipe. But one of the cool things that I've learned, especially by whenever you go to a class like this or learn a tutorial, just learn what I'm giving you, but always make your own changes. There's no right or wrong. You're here just to get inspired. You're here just to get out of the normal that you've been doing all the time. And again, if you're taking just one information out of this class from me today, it's already a successful class for me. But what I would say is like whatever you see here, just try to put it into practice. See how it works. And then you can make it your own. Okay? So how can you be set up for success? Being organized, being neat. And trust me, to me that was hard because I'm like an artist, we're all artists. Sometimes you get messy. Whenever something happens, when you see, and that's for everything, when you see an issue or a problem happens, address it right away. So if you drop something, a color, go and clean it up as soon as you saw it. That way you're kind of educating yourself on how to be better and how you're being seen by your client as well, okay? So first things first, like I said, step one is going to be lining, right? So we have either linear foils, precision lining. Actually, here we're going to be using foils with precision lining, and I'm going to be using Blonderplex. Again, to me, Blonderplex is my favorite one because I like to always not only take care of my client's hair, but always I'm getting an add-up cost on my ticket. I'm getting that premium charge for Blonderplex. Then we're going to be, again, doing this root shadow with a strong depth on this hair. In this scenario, I have a level 9. But can you do this on a level 6? Definitely. Will you see more dimension on the level 6? Yes. Again, I'm doing the whole technique just to kind of create a whole pop of blonde on her. But again, we're going from a 9 to 10. But the reason I chose this is because I want you to guys see what the Blonder cream toner is going to do to that just soft tonality in the end. Okay? But I would like you guys to try it on a darker level so you see what this technique, the whole head application is going to do to your client. It's beautiful. And then the personalized tone. Okay, so first things first. What am I going to use here? So I'm doing the lightning. So I have my board. I'm one of those. I love working with boards, not only for the precision, but also for the, what's the word? The saturation, and just like it really helps me with like just really putting that product in there. Foils, the way, foils can be different for anyone. You like more of the soft foils, I like more of my hard foils. Just, it's also your preference. I'm going to use a tail comb. This is my favorite tail comb ever. This is a YS part. It has a teasing teeth, and then also the tail comb. This is not so good for whenever you're doing a precision fine lining. Then I'll just go for my rat tail one with a wire. But this is what I use on a daily basis. My brush is also important. It's a personalized face for anyone. Some people like more of a hard bristle, longer. Again, it's up to you. My clips. This also is a YS Park one. I love the sharp ones because they're really tough on the hair. It doesn't leave marks, and it's perfect for me. But again, know your tools. Tools are there to help you out. But so work with perfect tools for yourself. It's always okay to kind of just spray the hair a little bit for control. Of course, you don't want to make it wet. Always a towel right there to help you out. So right here, we're going to work with the 4-quadrant sectioning, okay? So I'm going to go from ear to ear. I always like to make clean sections because trust me, the sectioning it really helps you out. On staying on that, it makes your job faster, the application more neater, and yeah, it's just really set you up for success. So once you know, and this is for any technique, once you know what you're gonna do, just really make those sections. Okay, so I have my 4 quadrants here. And what I would recommend you to do is that you actually work, you do your section, especially the initial ones, you understand why. And then you go mix your color. Just leave your client like this, you're ready to go, because you don't want to mix your liner and then work on your section, okay? This is what I'm going to do now, and actually I don't have a 1 ounce here, I have a 2 ounce, so we're faster, and you know, she's the best client, she doesn't say anything, but she also doesn't pay, so I don't know if she's the best client. But anyway, I have my liner mixture here. Since I don't have to do Wella Flax on her, so yes, this is just blonder, okay? But I'm using blonder flax. On the salon, the blonder flax is my own. So I have tons of here. Okay. So I'm going to be working this way. I'll try to move a little bit. Maybe if I put it forward here. Okay. So first things first. Quadrant here. That's all you know. What I'm going to do is actually... There we go. That's the right one. This should be the quadrant. Sorry about that. We're going to tackle on this area first. And this is going to be super quick. What you're going to do is, I always try to comb the hair down. Again, if you need to spray it a little bit for control, you're welcome to. Just not make it that wet. What we're going to do is just work on the hairline first. So I've got about a ½ inch section. Don't worry, this side I will go back to this one, okay? So we'll do that little switch here. I always like to pull the hair around, out, and I'm just going to go really quick. 1, 2, 3. What this is going to do, this is going to be my depth, this is going to be my dimension, okay? So I go with the board, and that's why I like working with board, especially if you're working with thicker sections, because what I like to do is just serve that board with liner, okay? Because then, not only I will get the control when I lay the hair right there, see, that hair is not going to move, and then I'm just going to apply my liner all over. Whenever you're doing your foils, this is kind of back to basics, but sometimes that's why doing these seminars are great, because that's why we learn how to do a proper application that will help you. I never want to see this, okay? I want to see liner, okay? So,
You don't like spots?
it's not about spots, it's about, no, I don't like spots at all, but it's about having the saturation in hair, because that's what's going to create the liner. So that's why whenever I'm working with a thicker section, having the liner underneath and then on top, it will help me out. Now, also, if you have your hair that's kind of going away from the foil and you need more room, I don't want to see this. Okay? What's happening here when you do this, not only you're damaging hair, why? Have you tried? Yeah, you're breaking your leg. Whenever you're taking that out and you see on the bowl, that hair is just kind of, you always want to follow the cuticle of the hair. Whenever you're doing color, liner, and all of that. So what you will do here is just always, let's just pretend you've seen this, I'll do it in the next one. You always bevel the hair up. So you do a little J or, right there. Just because of the demonstration, it's a terrible foil. So let's just leave this one out, but what I want you to get here is just this sectioning right there. See, this is a failure for me, so you go ahead, you address it, okay? Always want to work with clean hands. All right, that's your first foil. Repeat the same thing on the next one. And on that note, whenever you're doing any application, depending on the speed that you work, just always try to mirror everything. So don't do all your section on this one and then go to this side. Always do about 3 foils on this side, 3 foils on this side. So you're getting an even lift all around. What did I did that? So 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's why it's always good also. So you memorize what you did on one side, you do the exact same thing on the other side. You're going to do the same thing here. On this scenario, since I know that I am going to do a shadow root, I'm not going to worry as much on this sectioning, on teasing my hair. I actually just want really that dimension to pop out. And also, since I know that my client is, on this scenario, is a level 9, no need to stress so much with that, okay? Again, there's no right or wrong. It's all about you understanding what is happening to the hair. Why is me placing this diagonally, or horizontal, or vertical, or teasing, or not teasing? What's that doing to the final result, okay? That's what differentiates us from other styles, once you understand as an artist what you're doing, okay? All right. See, I'm going to address that in a second. Failure. So what you do here, see, you bevel there, and then you just really go through it and really saturate the hair. So you're not seeing as much hair. You're seeing more of a product. Okay? Sometimes what I like is just having that free foil in the back. That's why I fold it, just for safety, so you're not staying in the hair or blood leading. Okay? And then you kind of just protect right there. All right. There. Then you're going to come down. You're going to close this hairline. This is actually a great, whatever you're doing partial, all of my clients, they get this. I always ask them, do you tie your hair up a lot? Especially if they're a dark cloud. I find that there's nothing uglier than you look like a skunk. So this always add up. If you want to always add up to your client, and I'm telling you, once you tell them, do you tie your hair up a lot? Oh, yes. Okay, so it's a partial. I'm going to add a couple of foils here. I'm telling you, you're going to hear so much. Nobody has ever done this to me. Okay, she's coming back. It's all a show, guys. Okay? So I'm just closing that. Same thing. Putting my foil, getting that board. So, do you guys all like working with boards or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Some people are just like, no, I don't like it. Again, it's all preference. I like it because it really helps me to control. All right. From now on, I'm kind of just going to go quick so you guys don't have to. But listen, it's all about keeping the consistency, of course. And when you're doing your applying, really take your time to do the proper application. So this is my first weaves. Okay, so you see here, where is it at? Right there. Weaves. Then we're going to do the triangles. And that's when things starts getting fast. So you're letting all of that sectioning down. So see, this is not there. I'm going to put it in here. Right here. 3 triangles here. So looking over there, I start with a inverted one. So super easy. Right there in the middle. There. I'm going to clip this away. or not, it's up to you. Then here, the teasing is gonna start. What's to understand about teasing? Whenever you start from down here, you're gonna get more hair. So look at that. Okay? Now look at the difference from the middle. So I always like, again, it depends on what you want. So I'm just gonna do this one. This is good for me. I always like to lock my hair right there. Pro tip, how do you lock your hair? Really up, right there, and then down, okay? Trust me, it took me a while. It's like, and then when I learned this, somebody told me this, I was like, oh my gosh, finally! The comb doesn't like fall anymore. Although the mannequin hair, yeah, this hair is just terrible. It's just gonna fall no matter what. Over here, you're gonna focus in the ends, okay? So again, she's already blonde, but if you want more brightness, then you gotta go all the way up. What I like to do here is just kind of set the hair right there. Then I place my liner right there, and then I start feathering things up. Okay? Whenever you're doing teasing and all that, just avoid this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you see this, listen, just turn, feather it out, and you can just kind of, this is how my process is. I always, whenever I'm done with the liner, that's when I pick my brush out, my comb, and then even with the finger, just work your way all the way up to the tease part. Whenever you're doing teasing, avoid putting color on top of this, avoid anything, because you're not going to get saturation in there. You're going to get spots, okay? Whenever you're doing something more that's more foliage, then be mindful whenever you're going to fold this, because sometimes here, if I'm doing just a diagonal section in here, you don't want this to go on top and overlaps and stain. So the best way to tackle this is either doing one fold here and then on the top, or just
Yeah,
go with
I do.
another one.
Couple others. Nope.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay? So you have that one triangle. Really quick. I have another one right there. Wait, right there. So I'm just going to work from right to left. The same thing here. Before I tease, this is what's funny, I always brush the hair down, just to have it in place. Now I'm going from the middle, up. Lock the hair, perfect. Now, what I'm creating here is just a full block of brightness throughout here in the hair, okay? And that's going to be great because it's going to marry with the face frame. So the dimension is actually going to come more throughout the hair here. Okay? Anyway, just going to speed up, okay? You already seen the good application. Again, if you need, just go like that. Then, third one. Same thing. Up and
I
down.
like that long method.
Yeah, oh, I'm telling you, that was like when I learned, I was like, are you serious? Because the thing is, like when you see, for example, Homeo working, he has at least 2 assistants with him. So one is holding the comb, and it's like, but that's not the reality here in the salon. So I took this class from another Brazilian stylist, and he was the one that I saw him do. It's like, oh, this is how you lock in your comb. Because I was doing anything, and I was like, why does it lock? I was like, so the secret is just going against the hair, and then you click it in there. Trust me, we'll take a practice on that too. Something so simple, but that's the cool part of like coming to this classes. It's like something so simple. When you finally learn, you're like, whoa, why didn't I know this before? All right. So, oh, this one I folded? Okay, that's fine. take you more than, let's say, 5 to 7 minutes to do. Once you know it, just go for it. One thing that's important to understand on timing. Can you talk to your client? Yes. We all like to talk, but sometimes you need to put it's your job, kind of separate things. Because I know we're not just stylists, we are psychologists, we're comedians, we are film editors, we're right? It's too much, you know? But in the end, you're there to do hair. So once you start your application, you kind of have your little conversation with the client. Okay, just let them, or talk to them. So listen, I'm gonna, in zone here because I need to get this done. All right. So this is our first round. Second round, we're gonna be doing all the inverted triangles with the slice on top. Now, I'm just gonna let this all down. The best way to do this, as you can see, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. All heads are different. Well, this section, what's important to understand is how you're gonna do it. It depends how many lines are gonna be, it depends on how much hair you have. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3. So what I like to do is just always getting that one section out. So whenever I'm working like this, I like to pull the whole hair out. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be the size of my triangle. So I have about 1.5 inches here, go all across. Again, sectioning. You're gonna take this out, okay? So this is gonna be what I'm gonna create. So I know I have to do triangles here. So you just go, this is your upper part of the triangle. So just go and pick your triangle out. See, sometimes you might grab the hair from down there, you don't want that. See, this is a triangle. Work your way. Once you get the grip of it, it's just super fast. And again, depending on the level of the client, you don't have to be so precise or worried about certain things, because the toning will correct, especially the shallow one, so you don't have to be so, oh my god, precise. Especially, well, as long as the front pieces is the most when the client is going to see. So whatever you do here, just really tackle on the hair, grab the hair. Don't go into little slices, no, because there's nothing to see right there. You want to get that color in there, okay? So 1, 2, that coffee's kicking.
It's good coffee.
Yeah. I did a little shot of my leftover latte. I'm jittery here. I'm going.
Makes your line soft.
Exactly. That's the thing, yeah. A haircut right now would be like, woo. And you have to sit on okay. Breathe. It's okay. It's okay. You got time. That's funny. No, but haven't that happened to you guys? You guys do a haircut and then you're like, ooh, that coffee's kicking. Calm down. It's okay.
You're sweating.
I'm sweating. I am right now. Yeah. All right. Okay. Last triangle. So I grab a little bit more here. Do my teasing. See, this one doesn't want to stay.
No, you want to stay.
Exactly. Now I need one. Or sometimes I just don't leave it there. Yeah. Okay, so this is what's gonna happen.
That's why I like the ones with the teeth on the ends of them, because it pushes.
They push it, yeah. I have to try that one actually. Again, it's all about,
We have
as you have that
Do
one.
you want one?
I'll try.
Okay.
All right. This is the new part then. So you see there's the inverted triangles. Now we need to create a slice on top of all of them. So what I just do is just I eyeball it wherever that is, and I grab a thin slice right here. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
That way you can hold it in.
Yes. I thought it was a comb. I think I'm okay for now.
Okay.
I thought it was a different comb.
No.
So basically what I did is, I just eyeballed that slice, and I'm going to place a foil right there without teasing. Okay? So again, it's just a regular foil right there. That's going to lay on top of the triangle, and then again, what you see right here, that's my depth, this is my dimension. Okay? So, to my regular foil, this is my triangle, just go on top. Doesn't have to be that much hair, it's just something to create a little sparkle right there. Again, the focus of this technique, say it again? Yeah, it's more of like, it's creating like more a veil, okay? Especially when the client's this light already, you're not looking to create lines or anything. And you won't be able to see it then if you do. If that's, again, it's just creating more of that natural sparkle. Veil all over. And then the depth on this hair is going to be created more because of the shadow root. Because the shadow root throughout the whole way is going to stay underneath the hair. That's what's going to make everything else pop out, and you will see that on the end result. No, we're not going to be here for 3 hours, trust me. I already got it all ready. So one more time here, just a little slice. It's not so nice. Again, so it's just really tackling the hair as the artist that you are. You don't need to tease again the slice. Actually, I do not want you to tease that slice. So you're just going to set this hair, the whole section, repeating this all the way when you get to the top. And then I'm going to skip everything else to get to the top. So you guys can be okay, so what you're going to do is just do repeatedly this all the way here. Twice. Exactly. So, yeah, it depends. If your client has more head, you just work and just do this triangle with the slice on top. And when you get to the top right here, you do want to see that gap right there. So you just want to create that main veil right here. Okay? So, again, I would recommend here on the top that it is more of a broader, exactly. Because of how, and it all depends also how the hair is going to lay. But I think that I want you to keep in mind is that the way we're going to place these foils here, they will help you on that veil right there. Okay? So I have a triangle here. On this one, I will kind of just grab a larger one. Because then you're just addressing the whole crown right there. But be mindful, will always be mindful, no matter what technique on the crown. For example, if you're doing on me, you're going to have to do with those, with 2 lemolinos here, which is my hair pattern. So just always be mindful on how that's going to lay on the hair, because sometimes you're just going to create this terrible stripe or something that it just doesn't suit the whole hair. Okay?
Yes.
So right here, what I'm going to do is just, again, I did that triangle first. I'm going to remove my slice. I know I'm going to have to do that slice. Then here, I'm going to repeat. Then I'll just go ahead and do my foil right here. Any questions on the back? All right. This is a good way to address see, I'm sweating. This is a good part to address the application on the speed and what developer are you using. Depending on how fast your foils are, maybe you should start with the lower developer, going your way up. This will be the moment to change. Why? Because you have the opportunity to take the client to the back and just rinse the back and then address the front. Now, if you're a fast foiler, just go with the same, but I will always recommend to put the towel right here because again, no matter how fast you are, this one here is already working. And this one, you might have to be mindful, depending on the scenario, because hair on the hairline is always thinner, okay? All right, no questions? So we're moving on to the sides. This is when you're gonna turn your hand, climb it there. You're gonna let this part down. I always like to work with the receding area right there. So wherever the hair here on your client is, that's going to be my side part. That's how I'm going to define what is the separation. Is whenever you have the little triangle or whatever it is imaginary, you kind of just pull it out, see how the hair is falling to the side or kind of go. Just define this where the your side parts here. I'm going to leave this out. Then right there, we're going to work with triangles again. But this triangle, this is my side, this is my bottom right here. So I'm just going to go right there. Okay? And then we're going to do exactly the same thing we were doing here. We're going to tease the hair. Same thing. Okay? There's where you guys can see it. Don't worry about this application. Do the whole application perfectly, okay? Then here, you will do exactly the same thing, the slice on top of that. What's going to happen here is that you're creating the dimension right here on the front. Okay? Now, are there variations? Yes. If you want more brightness to the front, then you have that side of the triangle be your front pieces. Because then everything here will be full with that brightness, okay? So I have my slice right there. The fronts are always a little bit more tricky because, again, like I said, that's where the clients are going to see more mistakes, and you don't want that. Then again, you have to address the structure of the hair, especially hairline in the front. Sometimes it just came to my head here. Depending on the haircut that you're going to do, if you know you're going to cut some of that length out, just literally comb the hair out, get that out of the way. You want to impress your client even more, or actually sometimes scare her in a funny way, just grab a clipper. How many times I just comb like that with a comb? Yeah. But then again, of course, you're going to get that scare right there. But then after she sees like, I was like, oh yeah, knock it out of the park. That's done. This should be two. Say it again.
Create some excitement.
Yeah. Again, it's all circuits.
There was a hairstylist that actually did a lot of like one leg haircuts with just the clippers.
Uh-huh.
Like his technique.
Just the clippers? Yeah. All right, so here, now you see how it happens, right? You have that triangle. So here I have to create another one. So this is going to go out. Okay, so this I'm not going to touch. This I will. So this is out. This is where I tease. Okay. And then. Oh my God. My partner the other day, and he's older than me, and he had never seen this movie. And I'm like, and then he's like, why are you saying this? I was like, wait, you never seen Dude, Where's My Car? You don't know that part? He goes, no. I was like, stop what you're doing right now, come here. And he's like, this is the most stupid thing ever. I was like, I know, but that's what's working.
It was something that the 2000s
so here, again, that one slice. So I don't want you to add anything left over, because again, that's what's important to know, is that what creating the dimension here is those little edges on the triangle, okay? So here's my slice, no teasing on that. And then you just place it right there. Be mindful of this one. You don't, again, in the backs, you don't have to be that careful because it's the back, but in the front, really take your time. And this is for all application. Could be this, could be a full foil one. Just really make sure you focus mostly in the front in relates to mistakes and all of that. Can we correct them? Yes, but it's just better not to make any mistakes in the front. Then you'll lower this. You adjust the other side. Do the same thing. So 2 triangles. Most again, inverted, because if you want the dimensions more, then you have the edges. If you want more brightness, you can do the opposite to the triangle, okay? Let me go get a little bit more of lightener, and I'll be right, give me 1 second. If you guys want to go up to the mannequin and see what's going on, feel free to take your pictures in the back, which is great, but yes, it's always important to follow heel mix ratio. Not only you will get the even lift, same consistency and all of that, but I would say mostly for the same lift. Or if you eyeball in a collar and then you need more, it's going to look different.
Yep.
Okay? Whenever you're doing a mix here, always plastic bowl. The less you do this, the less air is getting to there, so the less oxidation is happening. So always keep your whisk touching the bottom. Back to basics, huh?
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, sometimes we forget. Okay. So let's address the top now. Alright, so this is where we're at. We did 2 triangles in one side, 2 triangles on the other side. So let's say this is what we're left with. And this could always be a little tricky because of your client's party. The most easy one to me is always in the middle, because then you kind of just do the same thing. But no matter what you do, so say she has a side part right here. On this technique, we want the hairline total here to be bright. So what I'm going to do, and it's always different on the hairlines. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate this whole thing here. Okay? Again, section. You don't need this right now, because this is going to help you for control. Look over here. I have 4 back-to-back. Do I need to make 4? No, there's no right or wrong. What I want you to understand that this is going to be bright. So, depending on how much hair I have here, I'm just going to grab, for example, here, 1. This is going to be 1. Now, if you look at the technique right there, we have 2 triangles on the side of this back-to-back. So how I can create a guideline here is this. Let me just do it that way. Right now for fast. Over here. Try to really go up there. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do kind of like a peace sign, and this is going to be my back-to-back on this section right here. So if that's a peace sign, let's just say right there, I'm going to leave this out and leave this out. Okay? So I can do 1 more here. Or if I know my client's texture, I kind of just go and do the whole thing. Okay? So for time's sake, this is what I'm going to do now. Again, you're not leaving any hair in between. We want that full pop of color when the client goes in there. So that's why it's always important to really work your way up. Now, depending again, if your client has a darker hair, what I would recommend whenever you're doing a back-to-back slice is just always feather on top. Okay? You can always kind of just help with your finger as well, just to create that blend. But remember that you will get some more of that blend, corrected blending or natural blend with the shadow root.
I always like to take like the last one to a tease that's very.
And do a little tease, yeah. That's a good way to do as well. Especially if you're not doing any shadow root, you can just create that blend by that. Alright, so 3, 4 back-to-back slices. What I'm going to do here now, she doesn't have that much hair, but you can always create another point of focus by doing another triangle, a little one right here. So remember there's this hair left out, so I kind of just go together and I kind of just eyeball it, a triangle right here. This one's always a little bit more tricky to do. So what I do is just I try to create that whole base of the inverted triangle. So I know it's going to be here. So I kind of just do a slice right there. Put this out, and then I'll grab it right there. So I leave this out.
So it covers that.
Exactly. But again, a triangle. So then you go and you do your teasing right there. Do your foil.
That's where the baby hair grows too, right there too.
Exactly. So it's just to create another hook so you don't have a hole right there. Okay? And then here you have your. One thing that I noticed though with face frame, because this is the face frame. The thicker you go here, the more stripy, spicy ginger ginger spice from the spice roast is gonna look. So I've noticed that a lot of my clients, they don't like that. So you have to address that with the shadow root. Whenever you're doing a face frame, it's a totally different something that we're doing, but just try to do your more foils right here. Sometimes I just do one right there, okay? But for this technique, the illuminage, you want a striking point because this is what we're gonna do now. So you do the triangle over here as well. Then we're just gonna do your regular, the good old school weave right here, horizontal. So again, let's just put this away. You can pick one side and just do your regular foil with large weave, like the same ones we did here in the back. No teasing. Okay. Oh, again, how you address if the client has a side part. You will do the same, but your foil might be smaller on the other side. And if you need to add an extra foil on the side that's larger, do as well. But try to do the same pattern, but you might be having less hair on the other side. But that's the best way that I know. I noticed that it's just best to address side parting. Okay? So this is what you adjust. So you go, then you go ½ inch, do a slice, lift some hair.
Oh, you're doing a slice and stuff?
Not a slice, I'm sorry. I just, a section, sorry, that's what I meant, a section. So you did one section, one foil, ½ inch, section, then you do your weave, leaving some hair in the middle. You did this, you do this all the way to complete. How do you address the middle part? On the middle part, I will always do one foil to each side.
Do you leave anything in the middle? Like a
No,
hair?
on the middle part, no. I always, because again, the hair is gonna lay there, so that's actually some, depending on how light your hair is, or dark your hair is, you always want that middle part. Let me just use it for example. You always want this to be the same. You don't want to see let's say this, we're one dimension. You don't want to see 4 dimensions here and 3 right here.
Yeah.
So always address this on the way that you will remember what you've done. If you need to pick a boo on the foil that's there, okay, and just leave, okay, that's where it's gonna, because you want things to be the same, okay? So you do this foils here, let her process, okay? Any questions on my foil application? Did you guys take pictures? Do you need it? No? Okay. So this, again, it's a level 9, so you don't see a lot, but you see the brightness. Okay? Now, we're going through step 2. We're going to do a shadow root. So what I'm going to do is rinse that out, blonderplex it, make it a verb now. Blonderplex, shampoo the hair, and then you bring her back to the chair. So let me just get her wet. I'll be right back. Where do you have a towel here? Alright, so she's happy, her hair is bone structured. Of course, the scenario is different when you don't have a lot of people watching you. So,
You want a brush?
if you actually want to do that for me, I'm gonna, again, like I said, setting up for success is always setting up your station. So this is done, and I'll be back with my shadow root training. How many of you use the color motion treatment? Alright, this is a great opportunity for you to show your client something else, add up to your service or not, or just have that included, because this again is product. So this is basically what it's going to do. Like the name says, is a pre-color treatment. This is just going to, okay, just want you to think about hair as a DNA chain. Whenever you do a liner or you kind of breaking against those bonds, sometimes you're going to leave, especially in the ends, you're going to see more porosity on the hair. So you're just going to see holes. Like I said, the DNA chain. This is going to fuel up those holes, linking them together again, so the color looks more even throughout the hair. So whenever you're using this, focus in the ends, and this will be the moment to tackle on this, because you apply all over the hair, comb it through, and just let that sit. You don't need to rinse this out. Again, like I said, before you mix your color, that's where I'm going to do my sectioning. This is how I like to do my shadow root. I like to work, again, with my ear to ear. I always start my separation like that, my sectioning with ear to ear. Bringing the client off to the chair, that's also how I like to do it. Because I kind of do my applications, I kind of go, I go either from 2 to 3 times. It's doing the same pattern, but with a little difference right there, and you will see how. So I do ear to ear, and just like lining, I'm gonna do my lightning step, I'm gonna do this separation here from, thank you. For this, I'm just gonna leave it right there. And this is the part for you to look cool. You can always, you can always get one of these visors. It's something that, have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
You have? Okay, so I'm not that cool. When you're planning like that. But this actually helps whenever you have to do section and this hair needs to lay on the hair, you just lay on your client. Okay? Now, for my shadow root, I always like my darker part to be on the crown. Okay? So this is going to be my first section. But before I do that, let's talk about formulating for your shadow root. How do you guys formulate? What is the best way to formulate for your shadow root? My preference is always to work with naturals whenever I'm working with shadow root. Not only if your client has some level of degrees on gray, that shadow root's already going to tackle on that. And I always like to work with naturals because I like my toner on the overall application to give my clients tonality. Now, can you add a little sparkle of other shade in there? Yes. What I would recommend is that you always think ahead on what you're doing with the toner. So I know that my toner has some gold to it. So what I used on here, I'm using Shinefinity 8 stroke 0 with a little bit of 7 stroke 39. So just a little dash in there. I do my mix ratio 1:1 with Shinefinity. This one I'm using on a bow and brush application. Also on formulation, I always try to target my shade on the shadow root somewhere in between my lightest to what my client's natural hair was. So let's say she was a level 5 and my level of lightness was a 9. So I'm going to try to be in between a 6 and 7. So always try to be in the middle and not go all the way dark. Because that's what I've seen a lot of people doing. Because basically what you're doing is you're just covering all of that work that you did. Okay? On this scenario, so she's a level 9. So I went with the 8. So I know it's going to be a little bit darker, yes. But what you want to do, and that's my tip, always have your, I don't have it here, always make sure the hair is wet. It's fine, it's just a minute. What I'm just saying is just making sure that you're spraying, that could help out because you're just diluting that color. So it's going to be more of a soft, yeah, perfect. So you see here's dry. So if I go, yeah, you kind of just go all over. Yeah, I do like this one too. All right, so this is my application. Again, I'm going to have only what I need here, so I have my spray bottle. This is the brush that I like to work. Say it again? I start from the bottom. I'm going to work from way. Yeah, you will see. It is the top. I get what you mean.
Yes.
But I'm going to go from here, work from way up. So I have my brush and foam, 2-in-1, my color. The first time, once I start, you need to get going, okay? So the first application, I'm just gonna tap. Tap. Again, once you start, you need to get going. This cannot take more than 5 minutes, okay? So you go, you don't have to be so meticulous, it's just kind of cutting the hair in thin sections, of course, because you want all of the hair to have saturation. If you see that the hair is dry, just have my spray bottle right there and really spray it, okay? Work your way up. So on this is more of a shadow, a root tap. What is the difference between a root tap and a shadow root? How much you're going to descend the hair. And a root tap, you have to be really careful as well because you do have to blend it.
Yes.
How many times when I was learning the root tap, all I was left with was a stripe. Okay? So for that, that's what I would recommend actually, a root tap. The spray bottle will be a great way to Exactly. If you don't want to comb it down and bring that collar down, just spray that collar on top and just bring it with the finger, back of your finger. Okay? And honestly, you don't want to cover the front a lot. So the front is always going to be either a root tap or either nothing. You always skip the front. Okay, so let me just pretend I did it. You're just going to work your way up all the way to the crown here. Once you're done, right away, just grab the hair out. Go to your section, to your hairline. Just stack up on both sides. And then you start bringing your hair down. So this is a little tricky because of the angle of the head. So what you do here, just know the side, where the, see before I was doing right here. Now I know that, so I really go quickly, and I know I work your way up. Just the opposite. It's easy. Some people might work differently and just kind of work on diagonal sections and placing the collar like that. Again, so you kind of just go and work your way up until it meets this part. Move fast. There it is. I'm going to go right there in the middle, but look at this. I am going to skip this part for now, okay? And then
Do that last, not at all, right?
I will do, as soon as I'm done with this first application, I will go there and do a slight root tap. If my client was dark. On her, I'm just going to let it be. Back to the chair, because we do it on the bowl. But bringing my client back to the chair has given me the best seamless result. Especially if you're working for, a very first time on the hair. Sometimes when the client comes back and you just need to kind of do a little twitch or touch up, you don't need it to be that detailed. You just need to refresh something that's already there. But if this is the first time, just really take your time. Work on the other side, okay? Coming away. Once you're done, leave the hair as it was. Then you're gonna go back to that first section. But here you can just go fast. I started right there. You're gonna go get more color. Start bringing it down. And this is where I want you to pay attention now. You brought it down, you're going to start combing.
Do that in the second round.
Yes. But this is what I want you to see, and this is what creates the problem. Do you see that product right there? If you're doing like this, you'll have the product right there.
Right.
So whenever you're combing your hair with the shadow root, try to avoid touching this part, but also have your comb up and not down. So again, two things to pay attention is to have your comb up and try to avoid the middle where you're touching. So sometimes a bigger comb could be helpful for you because you want some dragging of the collar, yes, but the dragging is actually the brush that's doing it. The comb is just blending. But the tool that's blending can also be your killer. So be careful with that. If you want, before you do this, just spray more. But what you can do is just spray more on the hair that's left out. Okay? And you just follow this up. Same thing. Put more color, drag it. And I kind of just go all over. Depending on how much depth you want, you can go all the way here. But if you just wanted it, again, it's your freedom, okay? And then you repeat over here, go to one side, go to the other side. This should not take more than 5 minutes each round. I will try to do it at least 2. If you bring in the call a little bit more down, just do a 3rd time that you're actually going. But again, if you're not doing that 3rd time, after you're done with the 2nd round, let it sit a little bit longer. Because we're talking so less than 5 minutes, so it's a total of 15 minutes. So you get, because you need that processing time. But again, depending on the shade or the color line that you're using, if it's Shinefinity, if you see that the color is getting too dark, then you're like, okay, it's time, okay? So what you're gonna do now, once the shadow root is done, you will take her back to the shampoo bowl, and then you're gonna do the overall toning. So you remove Shinefinity's color, you don't need to shampoo, and then you use the cream toner. So the cream toner that I select for this project is 96 Sienna Beige from the Blonder Cream Toner. Because again, all I want from this is just to deposit some tonality into it. So I would use this with pastel because I don't want that shift. Again, why would we shift my shadow root? But again, you guys played with this before as well or no? So that's the cream, the liquid toner. So this is more powerful. Can you use this as well? Yes. On this one, I would use more like a 1/6 to get something similar to this. But I really love the Sienna Beige. And you guys ready to see the final results?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is the final result. Sorry she wasn't a box, so she has a lot of volume right there. But
It's pretty good.
it's pretty, yeah, it's really pretty. Because like I love my favorite part. Wait, where is it? Okay, so this is as you see in the back.
Yeah.
So if you see here,
Yes, agreed.
so you see the level 8 in there being your depth, but it's an overall veil of brightness throughout, where you're keeping, you see the tips out, basically, right? But one of my favorite parts is always the front when you do, especially like, for example, an updo, the dimension that you see, but it's not necessarily a stripe.
It looks natural.
It looks, and that's where, remember when I said at 8 years I found what my niche is actually natural. I like playing with colors that they have movement, dimension, but in the end, the final result is going to be a natural result. Okay? And again, with this, you were able just to deliver some tonality without changing any level. So whatever lift I got from here is going to keep it without bringing it down. So that's what I like about this. So whenever you're working with blondes, level 9s and 8, 9s and 10s, I would just play with this. So you're not really changing any levels. You're just adding some tonality to it. Because in the end, blondes always need gold tones in it. Even if it's a tiny bit. If you're going platinum and all, blondes, they need that gold. What is blonde? Blonde is yellow. Yellow is gold. So you need that background in there. So understanding what your lift was, what's left out in it. If you need to add gold, add a little gold in there. In this one, I didn't need it, so I just used 9/6. Cendre and a little bit of violet right there. And it worked really good on neutralizing some of my warmth, because this mannequin's pretty warm. So I kept the warmth in there, and I refined and add a little bit of warmth on the shadow root. So it kept her very warm, exactly, but it's a refined warm. It's not a like, oh, brassy and all of that. Okay? So I'm gonna put this on the back. Here's your bottle. I'm gonna leave her right here. I'm gonna take this out. I think this one's gonna sweat.
Yeah, those things are very.
Ooh, they're warm, and the coffee and moving and talking to on this speed. Okay, address the problem, and then we'll see what's left after first. All right, any questions on this application, guys? So let's just really touch again so you guys really memorize what to do. Again, we start by addressing our hairline with weaves, and you can do that weave again on partial highlights just to blend your client's hair if she's one of those that tie her hair up a lot. Work with your triangles, no secret right there, just get on it. Big triangles, T's, no need to do that slice on this one. Right there, you have triangle, inverted triangles. Then whatever is left, just sectioning, make that section just so you have the base of the triangle, it's easier for you, and just pick and do your triangle, T's, and then eyeball it after, do your slice on top of it. Do that all the way up to the crown, making sure the crown you have like a bigger one just to be addressed the way the hair is going to fall in there. Then go to your sides, do about 2 triangle sectioning. If you want more dimension, again, have this be the front. If you want more brightness, do the opposite way. Okay, because as you see, this is all going to be light up. Okay, make sense? Okay. Then you have your back-to-back weaves. Be mindful with that because it can be beautiful, but it can also be very ugly, depending on levels that you started, how thick that's going to be, or how much you're going to address that with the shadow root. So just really be mindful that the more you go here, the more you're going to have to blend with the shadow root, because or else you're going to have a lot of a stripy look right there. Now, this kind of will break that up, the weaves, because everything is going to go together with that. But just be mindful whenever you're doing this application, and if you don't have this type of foiling to help that out with it. Okay. All right. Backcombing tips. Backcombing creates soft and diffuse transitions of color. When to use it, whenever you want to create seamless transitions and maximum diffusion of color. A root shadow end result is desired, that's when you want to do that. Combination with highlights and balayage techniques, again, is just to blend. That's what we use in the backcombing for. What affects the results? The size, shapes, and replacement of sectioning. The hair texture can always be tricky as well, so whenever you're dealing with especially curly hair, there are other ways that you might have to bring it more down. One thing that I learned with curly hair, whenever you're doing your sections of for highlighting, is just work with zigzags. Okay, instead of doing your slice and then just work with zigzags, because the way the coils go, they make difference. So you might do the same sectioning, but instead of working with straight lines, you just go with a zigzag, okay? The product choice is something that's important, again, to do with the shadow root and backcombing. I don't like to work with permanent colors whenever I'm doing a backcombing. So if the client really wants 100% gray coverage, I wouldn't recommend the shadow root with a demi-permanent. I think then that might be something that if you want full coverage, it's something that needs to be addressed on a different way than just doing the same service right there. Because again, the shadow root is to blend the transition of the color. It's not necessarily for great coverage.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes you can tackle on the blending, but 100% coverage, I'm not sure how much you're gonna get if a client has 75%.
Right.
And also you have to consider sometimes the highlights itself, it will do the blending already.
Right.
So that's when they ask, oh, what about if they have great coverage? I was like, oh, that's not a great coverage service. It's a blending of highlights from going to dark to
Will
light.
be perfect for gray blending at the end, just put the root blend, like the shadow root,
That,
that
that,
be perfect.
or, you know,
I
do you guys have the express color stone? Perfect. Sometimes that is also like what I do. It's just, again, sometimes you need, we want to do everything, but we can't. Again, you have to remember what is the base of the service that you're doing. So a shadow root is not there to cover the gray. It's there to blend, all right? That's where I just wanted to touch base. Backcombing tips. Where you start the backcombing will determine how much hair is pushed back. For example, further down this section, well, that's when I said, I kind of just covered all that, how I was going. So again, just make sure that if you want more hair to be not collared, just start from the bottom. The more hair it's teased up, the less color is touching that hair. Once it's calmed down, you create that blend. Keep the hair neat and evenly spread out. Okay, the good thing, let's go to the next one. Removing backcombing.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm doing a backcombing, that's what the unteasing, I always play with my client and say, this is the part where you're gonna hate me. Yeah, because I mean, it could be painful, especially if your client has a tender head. Best tip is, do not wet the hair down, the teased part, if possible. Try to avoid making the hair wet. Try to, for example, if you're removing a lightener, try to just get the ends out. Yeah, the drier, the better. Because if you put in water in there, yes, it gets more dense and it's more difficult to remove. So, yes. So again, I know it's kind of hard, especially here.
Yeah.
So it's just a tip, like the less water, just don't go like all over crazy in there and just remove. No, try to remove the product. And then with the Wella Plex, if you're using Wella Plex, I will use that in my benefit to kind of help the conditioning. If the client is not doing any of the Wella Plexes, any of the Wella Plex treatment, what you could do is just use some type of oil or a product that's really oil-based or a conditioner just to kind of help. What I would do also is just work, instead of working the hair as a whole, I will work every section, kind of just go over the section, and instead of having the brush horizontally, have it vertically. And then, of course, start from the bottom, working your way up. Another tip that I like to share, let me actually have my brush here. Thank you. Whenever like you're in the chair, let's say you're doing a blowout. I'm sure that happens to you, and you have that one tangle. If you guys grab the hair in the palm of your hand and the back of your comb and just really smack the shit out of it, that's breaking the tension that's in the hair. So you're gonna, yes, I know. I was like, yes. Next time, if it's that really bad of a thing of knot, just grab that hair, put it in the palm of your hand, grab that. What are you doing? You kind of just, it's just, yeah. Yes. And then never like this, don't go like this. Work it like this. Because it just kind of flows better. I know, right? I know, that's the aha.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Any chance you get.
Just put that anger in there. Just put that anger in there. Let me see if there's anything. petal, work from the ends, rinse out treatments. Okay, yeah, I covered it all. Root shadow tips. Yeah, I always say I covered it all while I was saying. Let's just see, use a small brush. Again, I just really want you guys to keep in mind the whole combing thing. Because I had many myself done it, and I was like, why do I have a line? Why do I have a spot? And then I learned it's because of the product that's left out in a comb. Because depending on how you touch it there, it's just going to be left. It's going to, you know, if you have product in there, then you have a line and you messed up the whole work. For color melt, I love color melt. There are ways that you can do, you know, you create color melts is obviously just more like at least three colors, okay? And then color melt, what is the call? Is because you're blending all of the colors without really grabbing them all together. It's kind of creating a new formula with two shades. The way I like to create color melt is something that it creates the move, like I said, it's more of a color in movement. You can either do the sectioning, then you have color 1, color 2, color 3, or if you want to create more of a movement, work with 3 different shades that are similar, what do you call it, spectrum? No, gamma. The palette. So what you would do, and then you do one shade, then on top you do another shade, then on top, another shade, and then you go. You create those placements, and then in the last 5 minutes, you just blend them all.
Melt them all.
You melt them all like that. I love that technique. That's actually the color touch melt that we had, I think it was 2 seasons ago, and I use it till the day, because it's beautiful. Once you grab those shades that are similar, but slight difference, so it could be a level 7, 34, and the other one it's a 5, 34, and then somewhere in between, so you do sectionings, and then you air it, so you have placements, and then on the last 5 minutes, yes. Again, it's important the aftercare, investing investing on protecting the investment of your clients, just really recommending them the right products. Now, I know you guys have many options here. I am familiar with one here on this side especially. What is important is that you're not just there to sell. Of course you want to retail, but not to sell one specific product. I think what's important here is to understand what each product can do to your client and if it works for them. If it's working, great, keep on up. But just keep in mind that just like deodorant, for example, I see that in the example. If I use the same deodorant on my arm, it doesn't work anymore. So you might have to have always 2 choices. Let your clients know, because once your body gets used to something, it's not going to work. So always switching one bottle to another. So do this one this time, then go to the other one, or just having both. And like you do 2 washes with this one, exactly. It's always both. It's always good to understand. But also, you don't have to recommend one line only. So let's say, for example, I did highlights for my client. I know that Ultimate Repair is better to be used right after a highlighting service. Not toning. If I have a toner right there, why am I gonna, because it's gonna, I know that Ultimate Repair is just gonna, it's more of reparative shampoo. And I know it's powerful. So it's not a clarifying shampoo, but I know it really goes in there. So don't use Ultimate Repair right after a toner, because you might be removing. Exactly. So really understanding what each product does and assessing what's best for your client. So for example, let's say she has a lot of color, tone and porous hair, and I want to preserve that color, so I might recommend a Ultimate Color shampoo.
Right.
And then, but it's porous, it's dry, then I might recommend Ultimate Smooth conditioner. So that's what I want you to understand, just really assessing each hair and what the product's gonna do to that hair's benefit, then that's what you should choose to have. So, of course, here you use the shampoo. Always try to use the products, and that's the problem that I had at some salons that I worked, that we would use something in the back bar because they wanted to be cheap and save money. But then when the client asks me, oh, what shampoo are you using?
Like,
Yeah.
this one.
Oh, the one that I don't have. No, the one that I don't have to sell you.
Yeah.
So you always want to use something that the client,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, if the case is that you need to do that one shampoo here, but send the client home with that, it happens, yes, but that's, again, it's a different scenario. But it's about- Exactly. It's just that it starts right here, then they can take it home. And one thing, as a pro tip, is that it has happened. How many times you guys have seen this happen to you? The client asks you the product and it goes straight to Amazon. How can you address that? How would you address
That doesn't, it's not the same formula, it's different.
that? Okay.
And the only guarantee it if it's buying in the salon.
Just say
Yeah,
support
they
me.
may or may not believe that, but one of the things is, it is a professional recommendation. Typically, most of our products are the same pricing, and they can have it now. And supporting us.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to get. Don't be afraid, because I think it's actually pretty rude from the client to do that in front of you.
Yeah.
Because in a way, you're the one who's giving them a recommendation. And that extra $5, let's say, that she might be paying you, what I'm saying is like, it's not a bigger of a cost when you actually tell them, listen, you're paying here for my knowledge that I'm giving you, that I had to pay for from the time that you're sitting here and listen to this crazy one here talk, for them to support you. So really just, they're gonna be rude to you, then just give them a fucking guilt trip. You supported Jeff Bezos with this $18 million yacht that's there. But it's true, okay? Again, so understanding the lines is very important. With Ultimate's color shampoo line, this is my go-to that's going. So this is the Miracle Mask. This, you just shampoo the hair, and then you bring the client straight to the chair, no conditioner, and then just feel this. A little goes a long way, I'm telling you. You might gonna need just 2 pumps, and then it's just gonna really detangle the hair, and you don't need to rinse that out. So this is gonna save you time. Yeah, so so you just shampoo the hair, bring the client to the chair, brush it all out, give it a blowout. But the good thing,
Is this the same thing as the bigger bottle?
this one,
No, the one behind it.
no, this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this is a service that they want to create. So this is the liquid layers. And this is how how we can use this in a salon and how to add up your ticket. There are 3 liquid layers. Ultimately give an extra little shine and all of that. But if the client is more reparative, then we're gonna add this one, $5. So the base is starting at a price, and then for every layer that you add is an extra $5. And you want to make sure that you're telling the client the benefits that they're gonna get for each layer that they want. So it's just an opportunity here.
It just
Okay.
makes the cuticle better.
Exactly.
The lower pH.
This is just work, yeah. So it's not really lowering the pH. That will be done with the post-treatment and all. Yes, exactly. This is just pretty much, so it says it's an acidic, so it's acidic, this is gonna lower the pH. But this is gonna kind of just create that color block to retain the color for a longer period. Exactly. Then you have, again, Ultimate Smooth and then Ultimate Repair. Ultimate Repair is just amazing, that 90-second product. And so this is just another opportunity for the salon to try it out. And if you want to add up. And it's more like that instant treatment that you don't have to have the client wait for a long time. Yeah, it's just like, a 5 minute, let it sit, let it work, and then you style, and your client will feel the difference. So this is ultimate color, and then of course you have ultimate smooth. I actually have, do you guys have ultimate smooth here?
Yeah.
I have some samples for you though. I'd like you guys to have it from the oil.
Is there any, photos and videos of more different colors, maybe more depth, darker colors?
Oh, yes, I can find that for
Just for us to
you.
look at.
Yes,
Find it.
if you actually find, if you go like on like I said, on the Wella Ed, just try, actually go more to the Wella Hair USA, and you will see more of the results.
What about your page?
Then you go on my page, you can see there, yeah. Here we go, for you guys in the back. You guys see here? Right here. And let me get on this side. So I love the smell on Ultimate Smooth. Yeah, it's so good. It's a little goes a long way as well. Everybody has it? Yes? Okay. If it's too heavy, what I do is just kind of cut it in half, the amount, and just really work in there, okay? Ultimate Repair. So those are the premium tier of our lines. And then you have Color Motion, which is a medium tier. So that's more of an 8-week color retention as a 10-week from the Ultimate one. And then you have Color Brilliance, that's our lower tier, more affordable, but nonetheless good as well. Okay? Professional tips here. Let me just read real quick. Yeah. So use the full-blown portfolio. So what I mean is like just using like all of the lines to know exactly what each product can do to your hair for your benefits. From blower plaques to free lights to offer tailored lighting solutions to every hair type, technique, and desired results. This allows stylists to comfortably recommend the right product for each client, increasing service quality and boosting client satisfaction. And tip number 2 is elevate your pricing through technique differentiation. So what does that mean? Position, for example, Brazilian Illuminage, what I taught you guys today, as a premium service by highlighting its multi-step artistry. So instead of just telling your client what you're gonna do, oh, we're gonna just blow it up, you really go step by step. This is what we're gonna do now. This is what's happening. So that's why I ask whenever if you guys are selling your services as a la carte, then how are you gonna tell them as far as like, oh, this is shadow root and blah, blah, blah. Or just do as a package, but make sure that the client knows the steps, how much work and artistry is going through that service. Sometimes putting that little stupid bandana right here, a visor, that's what's gonna make that's what's gonna justify a certain price or how you can elevate. And I'm gonna be honest with something that I learned. Don't be afraid to charge. As long as the client you're showing the client that they're getting something from it and you're delivering. So everything that I said, it might look silly, but it's true. It is a circus, it's all a show. When you put a show, clients will pay, okay? And really value your time. Don't let the client decide what your price is. You decide what your price is. You decide what the value of your work is. And as far as like with salons owners as well, always be in touch by the time that you've been working, not just in the industry, but also in the salon. It's like, hey, it's always like, be really mindful and open to work with one another, because we all want to grow here. He wants to make money, you want to make money, but we all want to grow, okay? And I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions for me right now? No? Did we cover it all? Did we cover it a lot? Before we go, do you guys have any comments? What was the aha moment here, besides the cones?
Spanking the head.
I know, I guess that was the one, yeah. Spanking the head, okay. Anyone else? What was that aha moment that you guys are looking forward to, really put it in practice?
The way that you kind of like would do.
Okay, all right. Anyone else?
Oh, I know.
Like the cheesy thing.
I got something, so like the brightness of the triangle, having the flat edge of the triangle is where your brightness impact is.
Yes.
Versus the other side, the pointier side.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's actually something that actually got to me too, because sometimes when you don't think about it, until you see it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Yes. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, I really just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you guys want to connect again with the Wella, I already said, just follow us on wellaed.com. And there you can see more of the courses that we offer, not in salon, but also in the studios. If you guys have the opportunity to go to one of our studios, the one in Calabasas especially, it's really fun. Over there, we offer courses that you can, in styling, barbering, business, color, to you reach a master level that you kind of reach as you go with certain levels. And to connect with us through, any education, again, Wella Ed is the best source to go. And that's pretty much it.
What's your
Yeah,
Instagram?
what's your?
Oh yes, let me go back there because my name is
Andrade.
CCS Andrade. Let me